Partnerships are pass-throughs, so partners get taxed on their share of income whether or not cash is paid out. A distribution is a separate event. On the EA exam, don't mix up allocated income on the K1 with money or property distributed. Distributions are classified as either current or liquidating, and that classification drives whether a partner can ever recognize a loss. A current distribution does not end the partner's entire interest. A liquidating distribution does. It's the payout that terminates the partner's interest or happens when the partnership itself ends. Exam tip. If the fact pattern says complete liquidation of the partner's interest, your antenna should go up for the special loss rule, because current distributions never produce a recognized loss. Now the big trigger, cash. If cash distributed exceeds the partner's outside basis, the excess is capital gain to the partner. That's one of the few times distributions create immediate tax. The partnership itself generally recognizes no gain or loss on distributions. So think cash over basis equals capital gain, and otherwise you're usually just shifting basis around. Property is different. If the partnership distributes property and its inside basis is more than the partner's remaining outside basis, you usually don't recognize gain. Instead, the partner takes a carryover basis limited to remaining outside basis. Classic exam move. They give you outside basis, then cash, then property. Your job is to reduce outside basis by cash first, then assign what's left as the basis in the property received. Here's the Henry-style logic. Start with outside basis of $100,000. He gets $40,000 cash, so outside basis drops to $60,000. Then he receives property with an $80,000 partnership basis. But his basis in that property is capped at $60,000 because that's all the outside basis he has left. After the distribution, his outside basis is zero, and there's no gain because the cash didn't exceed basis. Loss is where students get trapped. A partner receiving a current distribution cannot recognize a loss. Loss is only potentially allowed in a liquidating distribution, and it's limited. Generally, you need the total of cash plus the partnership's basis in distributed non-cash assets to be less than the partner's outside basis right before liquidation, and the distribution must be only cash and hot assets. If other property is included, the loss is deferred by basis shifting. Hot assets are the other exam favorite. Think unrealized receivables and inventory items, stuff that would produce ordinary income. In liquidation, if a partner receives hot assets, later collections or sales generally create ordinary income, not capital gain. That's why a liquidating distribution of inventory can still lead to ordinary income when the partner sells it, even years later. The character follows the hot asset rules, not "I held it a long time." When property is distributed by a partnership to a partner, what happens to the distributee partner's holding period for that property? Does it start fresh on the distribution date? Does it include the partnership's holding period? Does it depend on how long the partner owned the partnership interest? Or does it specifically not include the partnership's holding period? Think about it. The correct answer is that the partner's holding period generally includes the period the property was held by the partnership. In other words, the holding period tacks on. A tempting wrong answer is that it starts on the distribution date, because that's true in some basis situations, but for holding period here, you usually carry over the partnership's time. Harborview Retail Partnership dissolves. Derek, a 10% partner, receives business inventory with a $19,000 basis in complete liquidation. He stores it, and 2 years later sells all the inventory to an unrelated buyer for $24,000. How much gain does Derek recognize? And what's the character? Long-term capital? Short-term capital? None? Or ordinary income? Think about it. He recognizes a $5,000 gain, and it's taxed as ordinary income. Inventory is a hot asset, so selling it produces ordinary income, not capital gain, even after 2 years. The tempting wrong answer is long-term capital gain, because the holding period feels long, but inventory character overrides that.